I hardly ever use. All right. Hey, Anita, lovely to see you.
Yes.
Are you at
Also,
home
it's been a
today?
long time ago.
You in Vienna?
Yes, still.
No, okay. Hey,
But I start doubting on my residence.
say again, you start
Doubting on my existence here in Vienna.
because?
Well, job opportunities are not that brightening. Companies usually be an appendix of Germany and everything determined there, and you don't have a lot of opportunities regarding change and
Yeah.
transformation.
Okay, and I know some of the challenges we talked when we met a few months ago.
Yes,
So
yes,
I'll talk to you separate because not the platform, but there's one, two companies I
yes.
can suggest. Okay, so welcome everyone to our March monthly meeting. Hey, Claudette, I just saw you come in. Hi there, lovely to see you. Um, One or two faces. So I'll just what we do. First of all, we start on time and we finish on time. So that's something which is one of the disciplines of implementation. Many of you are familiar, but for those who are not so familiar, Antonio and I alternate each month between the meetings. And one of the benefits and one of the lovely things today is we've gone from Singapore to Iceland to Italy to Claudette. Where are you today?
Bermuda.
Bermuda, there we go. And Odutsi, if I pronounce it wrong, my apologies. Where are you?
I'm in Botswana.
In Botswana. I thought you might say that. Yeah, I just came back from South Africa. I was working with MTN in
Oh,
Cape
that's
Town.
good.
So
That's
I
good.
seem to be in Africa every couple of months at the moment, a lot going on. Anyway, but you can see we've just traveled around the world, which is what I love about the monthly meetings, as well as most importantly, getting to connect with each of you. Today is a topic that is urgent and important for everyone. And the topic is how AI is impacting not business, but specifically, we're going to look at implementation. And I'm going to share the slides. So let me just move the screen over and I will do a share screen. God, I'm so rusty on Zoom. It's great. I need to make sure I get audio because I've got a video on this. Share sound. There we go. All right. Great. And I've lost the, let me just give me one moment so I can see everyone. Show video panel. There we go. All right. So we're back in action. So for today's meeting, there's oh, I lost the agenda page. We're going out of sequence. Okay, it doesn't matter. There are two things to do. First thing is we always start with an implementation update. And there's a few to do for this month, a couple of new things we're launching. And the second thing is to then go into the topic. So normally the update just take about 5 minutes. This month, I'm absolutely delighted to announce for the SIPs, our strategy implementation professionals, that we launched something that had been in the pipeline. And on March the 19th, we're kicking off, which is the SIP exclusive. Okay. And what this is going to be, our subtitle is Thought Leadership Discussions. So these are going to be ad hoc meetings. And sorry, the difference between these and our regular monthly meetings. First of all, as the title indicates, it is only for SIPs. It is only for people who've been certified as strategy implementation professionals. Current number as of last week was 198. So it will be only be opened and it will be open to those who are not currently active in the membership as well as members. Next big differentiator is it will be both Antonio and myself on the calls in the discussions. The next key element is they're going to be ad hoc events. So it's not going to be a regular. When we feel there is something we want to bring to the table, when there's maybe access to one of our network or connections or a case study or a use case that we want to share, we're going to open it up for the platform. So absolutely delighted to announce March 19th will be our first meeting. It's 30 minutes later, whatever time you have on your clock now, it's 30 minutes later from now will be the kickoff. So we'll also start it at the half-hour mark, just to discriminate it a little bit from the monthly meetings. Reactions, comments, anything? Thanks, Anita. Okay, so the main emphasis is on thought leadership discussion. It's not going to be a presentation. It's going to be a round table. Anita and I were talking about this a couple of months ago, that the benefit of the SIP is just having that elevated thought leadership discussion, and that's what we want to focus on. Oh, sorry. So my slides have gone out of date. Okay, my apologies. I added the logo last minute and it's messed me up. So let me just go back to here. Okay. The other thing that Antonio is going to send out a survey on to all our current members is something, and I think, Claudette, if I remember correctly, you were on this discussion at the end of last year. I think maybe Anissa was as well. One of the things we're looking to launch is special interest groups. There's been feedback from the members that there's some areas that they want to meet separately on. And initially we thought about, well, setting up, regional monthly meetings. So we could have a meeting in Dubai, a meeting in London, a meeting in Vienna, a meeting in Reykjavik. But then we realized it wasn't the physical get-together that people were interested. It was more on a drill down on a topic. So another value add that we're looking to add in 2025 is to introduce special interest groups, which is commonly shortened to SIGs. The first one that we've been discussing is around the area of culture and the big debates, between culture and strategy, and what's the relationship, and Drucker's famous comment that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So a differentiator for a SIG is it will not be driven by Antonio or myself. It will be driven by a member or members. It will only be for 90 days. And those of you who've been through the program know 90 days is the magic number to make things happen in implementation. So it's a drill down, dig deep conversation run by the members in specific areas, topics around, initially we'll start by focusing on the framework, strategy implementation roadmap. Okay. I'll keep going. So number 3 is we're just very close to signing a partnership with a global marketing partner, and I've got another call with them tomorrow, but we've got the first draft of the contract and we're just tweaking it. But we're looking to elevate the numbers and the membership. And this is a partner who we're going to work with globally in looking at about a 5-time increase in the monthly memberships. Currently, we have probably about 10 to 12 people coming on board every month, and we want to minimum multiply that 5-fold. So that's hopefully a partnership that will get locked in by the beginning of Q2, and they will be aggressively promoting the marketing. Some of our fellows have been kind enough to give endorsements, and starting also, I think, yesterday started, we've also launched a program for promoting the fellowship, which we're offering a 10% discount if you sign on before the end of April, because then after that, the price is going up. So the fellowship is also being promoted. But this global partner is focusing on strategy implementation professionals, SIPs. And then, over the 5 years of the Institute, SII, we've had 2 conferences. And the first one, we had a really good turnout. The second one, by the second time we did it, numbers were not as large as they had been. So Antonio and I have been talking, and we thought, well, let's try something different. Even though we're a virtual organization, maybe we want to create the platform for everyone to come together. So we thought about having a physical conference rather than virtual. Then we thought, well, what about timing? And there was absolutely no way we could do it in the first half of this year because of commitments. And then we looked at the second half of the year, and Antonio and I both have like the Thinkers 50 conference, and when we've got the Drucker conference, and there were so many other. So we looked at the schedule and we said, well, why don't we hit the brakes? Because it takes a long time to gear up for a physical conference, to get the right speakers, to get the right timing, to get the right location. So we're targeting March or April 2026 to have a physical conference. The three most likely suspects are Southeast Asia, the Gulf, or UK. Those are the three most likely in terms of looking at the membership and location. It will also depend on sponsorship and partners and where we can drive it. Our global marketing partner also specializes in conferences, so we may be collaborating with them. But it's not confirmed or anything, but it's something Antonio and I are working towards, which is to have the conference in person in 2026. So love to get your initial feedback on the update, because there's some new and exciting value that we're looking to add to members. Reactions or comments, please.
I think it's great, Robin. And it's so much. I just marvel at how much you are able to accomplish. But I'm excited and looking forward to it. Okay,
thank you, Claudette. Thank you for the comments also virtually over the screens. You say it's too much, but I actually feel guilty. I told Antonio we didn't do enough over the last 12, 18 months. So these have been in the pipeline. I'm like, come on, we're the implementation specialists. Let's make this happen. So, I think we can do more because it's such a wonderful group and community that we're building, and I really want to see it grow and expand. So thank you for that. Anita, please.
Yes, just wanted to remark, since we're in the age of business agility, why do you expect just being you two doing all the work? Because we have such a great community, and it's great that you start delegating. It's also for us a great opportunity to represent the Institute, its values, and also for us to grow and to learn together. We have several nations we can exchange. We have collective intelligence. So this is great that you just delegate some kind to us, and we should also prove ourselves. So we are a team. It's not only you and Antonio doing the job. So that's my opinion.
No, I love it. Thank you. And especially the second one. Mustafa, hi there. Sorry, were you talking to us? Because it came across very muted.
No, I'm sorry. By mistake. Okay. Sorry. Hi, Robin.
No problem. Good to see you. So thank you for that, Anita. So the launch of the special interest groups is one example where that's coming alive. That won't be Antonio and I driving it. It will come from the members. But I actually agree with you. Thanks. Okay. That takes us to today's topic. Okay. How does AI impact strategy implementation? All right. One of the other things we introduced, just as a quick cover, is, so I'm just admitting at the same time, is we now have some of the members ask for a digital badge that you can use on social media. So just a quick reminder that's been added. 3 key reasons: helps you, in terms of your job qualifications, focuses on your passion for learning, as well as your focus on implementation. Just take a quick picture of the screen if it's something you haven't done and you want to do. But that's now available. So there's a digital badge as well. All right. So I'm just going to start off with a couple of slides to introduce before we go into the discussion. AI is, on everybody's time, and everybody's talking about it. It just continues to impact the way we work. Every conference I go to, every session we do, it covers AI today for the reason because it's having such a massive impact, especially now with Gen AI, and I'm going to share a little bit about AI agents as well. If we'll see how everyone is on that one. One of the lines I use the most when I introduce AI is this is what my favorite I put together: intelligence is cheap, wisdom is expensive. Now, what does this mean? Well, today, the number of different clients I work with who I can go into OpenAI and say, what is their strategy in the country? And when I then compare it to what the client tells me and gives me, it's within about 80-90% accuracy. Putting together, gathering data has never been easier, especially on your competition or the market and using it. So where's the value add? It's the wisdom is expensive. And of course, that's the differentiator that we provide, the human component. It's how you use the intelligence that matters the most. A survey done, I think it's about 14, 15 months ago now, by Harvard on the Boston Consulting Group employees. They tested to see how AI impacted their performance. And if anybody wants a copy of this, happy to share it afterwards. Just send me a message. Okay. The key, most important, the first takeaway was the 12% increase in more tasks completed. But the even bigger impact, as you can see, and the two that caught the attention that became viral, was that using AI allowed people to work 25% faster in terms of task completion and 40% in terms of the quality of how those tasks were completed. And the 25-40 is really what went viral from this research. There's also a footnote that it helped lower performing employees more than higher performing employees. So that was also an interesting footnote. But this is one of the established research that kind of launched the benefit of AI, that it's 25% faster completion, 40% better quality on completed tasks. These are some of the common suspects. I haven't included DeepSeek because I've been on the road since January, first week of January, and when I went to set it up, it didn't accept my company email. So I haven't got it organized yet. So it hasn't got DeepSeek, but I'd be curious to hear which ones are people using the most? Okay, so thanks. Most of you are putting in. So Copilot is certainly coming up, and ChatGPT look like the two favorites. Okay. So the $20 version that you pay for the upgraded ChatGPT is certainly worth it. Heard a lot of feedback, but the next level at $400 a month is not delivering as much value yet. There are a lot of people, certainly it's worth paying that extra. Most of us are using ChatGPT. Claude and Gemini wasn't seeing so much. Copilot, I think Microsoft are doing a good job. It's becoming more integrated as it will continue to do in their work. Perplexity for our world is excellent if you haven't played with it yet. Not only does it give you the inputs that OpenAI does, but Perplexity gives you more accurate research. So especially if you're writing articles, white papers, books, I strongly recommend Perplexity for that. Quora Poe I mean, Quora was very popular a few years ago for discussing questions, and Quora Poll was kind of built in the AI to that. I played with it, but personally, I didn't get a lot from it. Pi is for therapy. A lot of therapy AI is coming out that people are liking, especially those, maybe any of you working in the mental wellness area will have better experience with those. And then the other two, you're more familiar with. So that's just what some of the examples of what we're seeing today. Closing out on the slides, it's currently estimated that ChatGPT 4.5 has an IQ of about 155. Anita, you were in this part of the world. Does anyone know Einstein's IQ? Einstein was 160, and it's estimated within the next few years, AI will reach an IQ of 1600. Intelligence is cheap, wisdom is expensive. So it's how we're going to use that knowledge to create greater value and experience within the organization. Okay. Couple of warnings before we go into the discussion. Filmon, have you seen this one from Hong Kong? Did this come across your desk about the 25 million fraud in Hong Kong? Because this is an Asia one.
Yeah.
Say again?
I heard about it.
You heard about it. Okay, so I'll just cover it because out of Asia, not so many people know it. This just happened in 2024. Inside a company in Hong Kong, a finance worker, a multinational firm, was tricked into paying out $25 million to fraudsters. Now, what happened was the request came in and the finance worker did their due diligence. They went to 3 board members to get a certification for transferring that amount of money. The problem was the fraudsters preempted the steps and they created deep fake images of the board members. So when they actually hijacked their system, so when the person went to check, they went into a digital twin. And the digital twin was so reactive now. It was blinking, it was moving its head, it looked so realistic that the company went ahead and transferred the funds. So the warning is that the deep fakes are becoming so realistic today. And the trouble we always have is that legal and compliance lags behind the technology. They're continuously playing catch up with many new things happening. So you have to be extremely aware. Which takes me to the last component I want to introduce before we go into the second half of the meeting, into the discussions. Can I just have a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Well, let me ask this first. Who's familiar with AI agents?
Can you explain more, Robin?
Well, I'm going to, but that answers my question. Okay, so I'm going to introduce them. That's why I just needed to know. I'm sorry, just before I get there, Anita, to your question about DeepSeek, I did cover that. I mentioned I've not played with it yet because I've been on the road for 2 solid months and I haven't got access yet. So I can't. Anybody else want to talk about DeepSeek before we go into AI agents? No. Okay. I did ask, I'm in China next week, and I did ask the people I'm working with on their feedback on DeepSeek. And they said when they compare the answers in DeepSeek to ChatGPT, they much prefer DeepSeek's responses. But that's not statistically. I've just had a few, I'm just beginning, but I will be in China next week with a client, so I'll get some more feedback. So that takes me to the last part I'm going to introduce. One of the big impacts on implementation is AI agents. Now, the easiest way to think about AI agents, and I'm going to explain, show you a video on them for those who are not yet familiar. First of all, you have to get familiar because this is the buzz for 2025. If everybody was talking Gen AI last year, everybody's now talking about Gen AI and even more so AI agents. So when you have a conversation on ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever platform, you're continuously entering data, entering information, refining your research, refining your prompt. Okay. AI agents do all of that for you. So think about it like, it's just like having a helper at home who takes care of everything for you. Okay. So three key comments. A software program, some people call it AIA. Fumon and I will understand AIA in Asia causes confusion because it's the name of a big insurance company. But over in the West, a lot of people are using the term AIA. So AI agents are a software program that performs self-determined tasks to meet predetermined outcomes. Okay, that's from Amazon AWS. These autonomous systems make decisions and perform actions without human prompting. So just as we're all learning how to be prompt engineers, it's now taking the prompt engineering out of what we need to do in some of the tasks. It marks the end of an era in which people had to know how to talk to computers through computer language. So I feel very sorry for all the people who have been studying so hard to learn HTML, Python, and other coding, because that's rapidly becoming obsolete. It's like switching on electricity. You don't need to know how the electricity works. You just know it's there. That's what it's rapidly becoming. Okay, so I'm going to show a short video. And this is one of the best I've seen that I use when I'm working with board and leaders to help them just prepare them. And then we can take it into the discussion. I'm just going to test the sound first to make sure you can hear it. So let me just test it first.
Every business has tons of inefficiencies that never...
Is that... Thanks, Anita. Thanks for nodding your head. Okay, so here we go. I'll just take it down a little bit.
Quite get addressed. But today, most businesses know that they can solve this with AI, they just don't know how. AI agents are how you deploy AI practically in your teams. They do this by combining automation with AI. This lets them perform tasks that would previously have required human judgment, like extracting data, categorizing information, or processing documents. Even though agents are autonomous and intelligent, they're still tools used by people. In other words, humans still have oversight and control. They can just move much, much faster. So what kind of AI agents are there? Some agents are part of larger software platforms, helping users operate within those gated environments. And then others are more modular. They're point solutions that can be deployed flexibly wherever your team has bottlenecks. They connect to the tools that you're already using, so you don't need to overhaul your whole process to use them. Here are some examples of where you might deploy an AI agent. In sales, an agent will pull prospect information and draft new pitch emails for your sales team while they're on speaking with prospects. Then the sales team has more time to book calls, which translates directly to more opportunities for revenue. In HR, a hiring agent will pre-screen resumes, prioritizing them based on your job descriptions, so your hiring team can spend more time prepping and holding interviews. And in accounting, you can use an agent to process invoices directly into your accounting software without requiring any manual data entry. Agents are a new way of working with technology, one that augments human work with the speed and scale of intelligent automation. With this new technology or way of working, you can start looking at your processes and identifying where you can reduce time, manual labor, and find new opportunities for growth.
Let me open up. Reactions, comments.
Well, I've seen a couple of agents being used, especially in bookkeeping, and that's becoming very common. But it'll be interesting to see if we can use more agents in our line of work.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's where we're going to go in a moment. Thanks, Gudrun. So you've seen it mostly in bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
I use QuickBooks, but I haven't had a moment yet. But I'm looking forward to setting up for QuickBooks where it will just automatically load expenses. Anyone else? Any other reactions or comments? Okay.
Every business.
Oh, thank you. So that takes us to the $6 million question. Okay. Where does AI impact strategy implementation? Now, I put together some of my thoughts, but I want to open it up. The AI agents is not what I'm going to focus on for today. It really is the buzz for 2025. It's going to definitely impact how we implement because it makes tasks easier and gives us more free time to focus on value. But I'm going to step back and just focus on AI in general. So let's open it up. Let's do a quick brainstorm. We'll see what you come up with. And then I'll compare it to some of the examples that Antonio and I are using AI in implementation for. So let's open it up. Brainstorm. Where does AI impact strategy implementation the most?
Just shout out or?
Yeah, you can put in the
Okay.
chat box, or preferably let's just chat on the call.
If I may start, I think we have the concept of a strategic cadence, like the slow, the medium, and the fast. And I think it's quite beneficial for companies who are forced to be in a fast strategic cadence. That means they need to change the strategy every 1.5, 3 years. And as we know, just changing a whole strategy for companies takes at least 18 months. So I think this should be beneficial. And facilitating tasks and also doing more, because we also learned that less is more, but in some areas you really need to do a lot of tasks, and so you can do more in less time. Yes, okay, I start talking so
Okay, well, let me take you back a step. Can you just clarify? So how do you see AI enabling, I mean, I've got my way, but I want to hear yours. How do you find that AI can enable a company to craft its strategy faster, quicker, and better? Danita, from your earlier, and then we'll go to Claudette. Danita, because you started it off. You said, AI can help craft the strategy, which we have to do more frequently. So how would you see specifically? Can you give an example, or do you want to wait? Because I can give an example.
Yes, I'll wait.
Okay.
I'm more thinker, so.
Yeah, so I'll give an example in a moment. Claudette, please.
Yeah. I find in the data analysis, whereas before you would have to call on team members of specific disciplines to assist, you can do data analysis yourself, like some of the accounting analysis. You can put spreadsheets in. It will do that for you in real time. And also in the crafting of indicators, which help with the drafting of dashboards, which people struggle with a lot, and how to keep up with benchmarks and dashboards.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any other reactions or comments?
Yes, I found
please,
one.
Sorry, Anita. Yeah, please go on.
No, if I may add, I think a scenario planning, because if you craft a business model or just design something or think about what would your future business model be, but you have several options in this complex world, you can use scenario planning just to sort out which of those possibilities you are envisioning are the right direction, or at least the most promising direction. So this is now what I have come up with.
Yeah, so predicting the future, we've actually got better at, which seems weird, but we can actually predict the future better than we've ever done. I fully agree with you and the example I use to help people understand that is when you're driving down a motorway, freeway, expressway, whatever you call it, and the GPS tells you there's an accident just ahead and you're going to be delayed an hour, or you can turn left onto the slip road and bypass the accident. Of course, over 90-odd%, if not 100% of people will take the advice of the GPS. So that's how, for example, we use predictive analytics to understand human nature for tomorrow and better understand what people are going to respond and do. One of the companies I work with have the goal to solve 1 million customer problems before the customer even knows there's a problem. Now, because they use the AI to analyze where the problems in the customer journey occur and then predict it and are able to resolve it to eliminate the problem so it doesn't even happen. Gudrun?
Yes, I agree that you can use the AI to become more efficient. But again, you can't forget that implementation is all about people. And you heard me say this before, Robin. So I think you need to find a way to use the AI to help people still interact with the implementation and have this strong ownership. Because if the people are not with you in the implementation, you can have all the best solutions, you can have all the best dashboards in the world, but nothing really changes.
Yeah, and one of my colleagues who I work with, he has a rally call that he uses. He says, if you're not using AI, then you'll lose your job to somebody who knows how to use it. So, people and AI, absolutely agree, have to be, integrated. I'll also preempt one of the biggest questions I get asked when I speak at AI and tech conferences. And Odessa, I just did Nigeria's tech conference. I did the opening keynote for that. Was people say, am I going to lose my job because of AI? The short answer is yes, because the owner of responsibility is for you to be adapting and learning so that you now have the skills for working in a digital world. What I mean is, in the past, it used to be you were dependent on your company to send you for training. Some of us remember we used to have company libraries where only top performers got access, and it was all restricted about who could learn. Today, knowledge is free. TED Talks, conferences, seminars, you can go, courses, online courses. There's so much free information out there today using Perplexity and other platforms. So you have to pull yourself up. So that's, the responsibility. But I haven't got it for today's meeting. But the World Economic Forum just announced the number of jobs being lost to digital and the number of jobs being created. And I can't remember, I won't quote it because I don't remember the exact ratio, but the number of new jobs was much greater. Anita, do you remember it? Have you got it?
No.
No. Okay. So please go on. You want to make a comment? You had a comment. You raised your hand. Did you mean to?
Yes, I just wanted to add, for sure, people will lose the jobs, but the job landscape will be changing. Also, like over centuries, they have changed. I'm only a bit troubled from a social economic point of view. Well, we are in a lucky position. We mostly are academics. We manage to studies, but there will be a lot of people who are just not capable to do this, or like have some not disabilities, but doing it hard. So I think it will also be a huge social disruption because people need jobs to have a decent living, and maybe this will result into more social upsets and violence and so on, and also cities. So the whole life will change, and I'm not sure. Of course, workforce is declining, birth rates are declining, so we need to somehow compensate this. But if you are less people, then you also need less products. So my fears we run into a vicious cycle if you talk it from the economic principle. So this is also we have to think, and also like use AI for good or use AI for bad. So this is also, I think we should start in thinking into this direction. So I'm currently reviewing Antonia's book, and I have some critical opinions about this, but just think, and please don't take me as a very mean person. Robots can be great for sending like robots into situation which can be quite dangerous for people, into mining, where fire is and so on. But they can also be used to build a very strong army. You can scale them very fast. And I'm not sure if like some not very nice countries are already having this in place, and then we are overrun by an army of robots harming people. So I think we should speak it out loud. I don't wish it to be the case, but I'm not sure. So I'm not sure how open we can be here.
Okay, but if you don't mind, I'm going to keep it back and keep us focused on not the economical or social, but on the implementation focus.
Yes.
Okay, so if that's all right, we'll keep it on that. I'm going to share my list in a moment. Any other thoughts or inputs on where implementation will be impacted? And you see me looking to the left because I use two screens. Okay, so this is some of the examples. It's not the complete list. But these are some of the examples where we're using it the most. So the first one is identifying company strategy. As I said to you, as for those of us, including myself and some of the others who are doing consultancy work, the whole challenge and research that was involved used to take us, months, years. I mean, especially the big consultancy houses. This is where they charged you upfront a lot of money for the time and effort and energy that it took. That's been shrunk. Under one of I have three different companies. So under one of my other companies, we were preparing to do some work with a client, and they said, we were doing the market, the competitor, and the customer analysis, and we said we need 6 weeks. And there was a look, and they were silent on the conference call, and we were like, "Is that too long?" And they looked and said, "How can you do it in 6 weeks?" And we're like, because now, I mean, I've invested myself in a SaaS tool that does your value proposition in 30 seconds and compares it against your competition in your market, in your country. And you can get that in minutes. And that, using SaaS tools is the way, very much for around strategy and value propositions. So, that's the first one, identifying the company strategy. As I said to you, I use ChatGPT every time before I meet a client. I'll get an update on their strategy. It's fantastic. The second one, Anita, you were talking right at the beginning with the link also with strategy. This is my favorite. I used to spend maybe 2, 3, or 4 hours with a client doing the SWOT. And it was based about the knowledge in the room. And we would take them through each step, and you break into 4 teams, and they put up post-its, and we'd agree where your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Well, now a SWOT takes 30 seconds. Once again, we put it into OpenAI, it does the work for us. So the difference now is instead of having to have a 3-day implementation preparation or even a 3-day strategy meeting, we can half that time. Claudette?
I would agree with you, Robin, but the AI in that scenario takes out the component of ownership of the players, because there are other things that are going on sometimes, and that's what analysis, bringing people into the conversation, having them have ownership, feeling as though they're a part. So we lose that when we generate it through. We can verify it. I find this. We can verify it through AI or help and assist, but we do have to have discussions around, why these points are being raised. It's very important to move the project along to Huron's point about people. Yeah.
I agree. Anita, you want to add on?
Yes, I think that what we need to be aware of is that the most afterthoughts skill to die, critical thinking without biases. And I think like we just converge towards mediocrity and like loss of thinking. And if we just delegate everything to the machine, so I as Claudette says, I would of course include the team, but also have a quality check then done by AI agent, just to see if like we diverge or find common points, and the creativity and there's the concept of human intelligence or like collective intelligence should lie in the people, because otherwise we can't upskill them.
Yeah, and I would add on to what you're both saying, Anita, thank you. And I should have said it up front, so thank you for picking up on it. What it does is the heavy lifting. It doesn't give you 100%, especially, hallucinations will still be an issue in 2025. I'll come back to that in a second. But I think the term I use that captures what you're both saying from my perspective is it doesn't do it for you, but it does the heavy lifting. So that back-end analytics, analysis, time, it makes it so much easier. But then I agree with both of you, you then have to refine it. Hallucinations, the latest report I've seen as of Q1 this year is it's dropped from 8% to 1.8%. I think that was from Amazon, if I remember correctly. But it's a significant decrease. And this year, hallucinations will become less and less. If you're not familiar, hallucinations are the AI is still learning, and it makes up things that are not true. There was a few years ago, a lawyer used AI to find briefs for a case, and we presented the briefs. 6 of them were artificial and not true. So these are what we call hallucinations that we're still learning, but AI will continue to improve. It's a moment of time. Within a year or two, they'll be, insignificant. Okay. Oops, sorry, there's someone in the waiting room. Number 3, identification of measures. This is another area that I personally love AI. When we create a scorecard for a company, the actual creation of measures was it was tough on the participants. Now, I'm weird because I'm an ex-banker and I love numbers. But, for people to go through putting measures against objectives and having to identify the right measure and make sure it drives the right behavior was painful and took time. Today, we go in and in the room, we can use the AI once again to do that heavy lifting. Anita?
Yes, I would add like creating a roadmap and the measures. So because first you need like a strategic roadmap with the most efficient use of your resources and the alignment to the most important strategic goals.
Yep.
And then in conjunction with identifying measures, and I've also written in a chap like generate balanced scorecard, derive strategic goals, including the right KPIs.
Yes, so fully agree. So yeah, so well, as you're saying, not just the measures, but you can use it to help you refine, guide, and build your strategy as well. Number 4, the data-driven decision making. The rubric for this is the better the data, the better the decisions, the better the decisions, the better the performance. It still amazes me, and I just spent a day with one of the hospitals here in Singapore working with some of their leaders, and how little that companies are not using data for better decision making. The combination of using AI and ML, and having the engineers to build the algorithms into, decisions you're making and helping you make them. It has to become the DNA of every company. Those of you with kids going into university, any data scientist coming out of a university today is going to be, that's where the biggest demand is, one of the top 2-3 areas for jobs. But this is, one of the critical areas, not just with AI, but with ML as well, and combining that to allow it to make faster, better decisions in your day-to-day. I'll cover the last 3. Process mining. God, there could be some others. Who in the room has done Six Sigma in the past? Anyone else? Was it Six Sigma just me? Okay. So in my other life, in the late 90s, I was actually trained by Motorola, who created it. I was a regional vice president in Citigroup, running around, and we adopted Six Sigma across the bank. And I used to do Six Sigma for processes in the bank, and we go into a war room and map them out. That's obsolete today. The wonderful thing about AI, it will identify the variations in your process. So the whole having to go the 3 months of doing an as is and a should be, a could be, and a should be, and solving step by step each of the pain points and prioritizing them, that's all down to minutes now.
You have to stop now, Robin. You're giving me nightmares again.
I'm dying high. Why am I giving you nightmares? Hey, I saw you came in. Why am I
apologies, I was late.
Yeah, so hang on, but because you used to do it as well, or because
I was a black belt trainer
go.
even within Shell, so I said you're giving me nightmares again. Just, please stop. Please, the hurting stops.
So yeah, so all
the
that
hours and hours of workshops listening to bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry.
So you have to be using process mining. There's a wonderful article in the latest edition. Actually, I've got it right here because I'm giving it to someone else. how AI transformed your organization. It's the HBR, the latest, most recent HBR. There's a wonderful article by 3 of the founders of process management talking about how you use process mining. So if it's something you want to know more, as well as streamlining operations, spur innovation, and win over skeptical employees. So I found this one of the, for our field, one of the better. So if you've not read this, the latest quarter from HBR, that's a good one.
Which edition is that, Robin? Sorry for asking. Which edition
Yeah, no
is that?
problem.
Because in the April one, it's not done.
This is January,
Jan Feb. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Last 2, and then we just got a few minutes left. Streamlining workflows. I don't think that needs too much explanation. That's pretty straightforward. But the important thing is, we all know that implementation means more work. We're asking employees to work differently. Actually, I've got a new one I'll share with you that I've been using recently. Can you do me a favor? Where you're sitting, move your foot, your preferred foot, right foot, in a clockwise direction. So as you're sitting, just move your foot in a clockwise direction, and then take your finger and draw the letter 6, and see what happens to your foot. Okay, so your foot will have changed direction. Okay, so this is another one I've added in with a bit of fun. I used it today. Okay, now what I do is using your foot in a circular position is what we do every day. Suddenly we're coming in and pointing to work differently, and without any control, we're changing and things happen automatically. With AI, we're able to put in those controls to streamline workflows and adapt and change the way we work. Number 7 is a major one in 2025. It hasn't hit the mainstream yet, but I think it's just on the tipping point. There's a term that is becoming more and more popular that is going from agile at scale to agile enterprise. Now, most of you or many of you will be familiar with going from waterfall to agile and using DevOps and MLOps and different ways of working. When we go to agile at enterprise, it's just an expression that's taken on more traction to explain 3 key things. So agile at enterprise, you're working end to end for your customers. Not just within a division or a department, but truly the end-to-end customer journey. Second, and very critical, tremendously data-driven. So you're combining what we call customer science. Customer science is the fusion of customer journey mapping and data. And that's where the magic happens. So tremendously data-driven. And the third critical element of agile enterprises is empowered employees, where we've blown up the bureaucracy and the people on the ground in the hackathons or the design thinking or the data analytics are making decisions, driving improvements without having to go through layers of bureaucracy and red tape. So the penultimate, because I'll add one more, which I should have done. The penultimate one is in Agile Enterprise, which is really supporting organizations to work faster, quicker, and better to respond to market transformation changes that we're living in today. And last one, then I'm going to shut up, which I should have mentioned. My apologies to Antonio. Antonio and Ricardo. Ricardo was CEO of Brightline for many years, is also part of PMI. So Antonio and Ricardo have been friends for longer than I've known both of them. They launched last year how AI is helping improve projects. And some of you I know went through their course and with them on that. So, Antonio, maybe if it's an interest, I can get him to talk about it next month. But that's, that was his focus on how AI and Antonio and Ricardo focus on projects as well and how AI integrates project management. Okay, that's my examples. Reactions and comments, please.
just exciting to take the strategy implementation to the next level using all these tools and techniques.
Okay, and Gudrun, from your perspective and the strategy work you're doing in Iceland and Italy, which does any one particularly stand out?
Well, as of now, I've been using mainly the first 3 items you listed on the agenda, but I think the more the customer gets acquainted to using chat or AI in their own day-to-day operations, you can go further along. It's almost like you have to be careful, like Claudette was saying. You can't take a step too far from the client. You have to be sure that the client follows you because it's a matter of trust.
Yeah, and Odutsi, you'll be, very familiar with it. For example, in parts of Africa and other locations around the world, one of the challenges we have, Gudrun, what you're saying, is also, are they digitally savvy? And sometimes, does the company lead the development or does the customer lead the development? That's another contrast we're seeing a lot of, and how you manage that. Yeah, fully agree. Other reactions and comments? Antoine, I get worried when you're this quiet. Are the tears been wiped or are you okay?
No. I actually recently did almost a similar thing, looking at what you said, and it all makes absolute sense. So I have actually no questions.
Okay.
Robin,
Anita,
sorry,
please.
no. Yes, I am attending Antonius and Ricardo's PMI Revolution for at least a year. I have posted you the link for the homepage, and here you can register free for the next session, which is taking place this Friday at 4 p.m. Central European Time. So just sign up and you get the link and you feel it, yes. And on the page, there are also like some reports and old videos. So this is, I just posted you, and in every time. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And on that note, while we're doing some marketing, Philmon, if there's an opportunity, if you're free at 3 p.m. on this Friday at SMU, I'm hosting Piyush Gupta from DBS, the CEO, and I'm doing a fireside chat. We've got about 280 people registered. But if you're interested, drop me a note after this, and I'll send you the link, and it would be a pleasure to meet you in person.
Sure.
Okay, so it's a fireside chat. The theme is building an iconic company. Okay, it's not streamed. It's only going to be live in the auditorium. All right, but if you're interested and you can make it, let me know. Just drop me a note and I'll send you the link. Okay, we've got 30 seconds left. We finish on time. One of my thoughts that's always at the back of my mind is how do we use this? So last year we were looking at doing a white paper on the difference between private and public sector, but we didn't find enough of a differentiator to go forward. Potentially this might be a white paper. We're always looking for body of knowledge from SII. So potentially second half of the year, this might be a white paper that we look at talking about how AI impacts strategy implementation. So just to give you a heads up on that. Closing comments, reactions from anyone before we wrap it up on time.
No comments from me, Robin. All good.
Thanks, Anton. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Antonio will host the April meeting. So it'll be a little bit later timing-wise. And then both of us will be on the SIPs, so the SIPs in the room. Hopefully you'll join us on March the 19th. I don't know if the email's gone out yet, or if it's not gone out, it will be going out very soon. Okay, but thank you to everyone for your contributions. It's an exciting area, and we're just going to see more and more of it as it develops. But thank you to everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.